MetaViewer and Sage is triggering spikes across all divisions. Really, it's all and everything nice. And so MetaViewer is able to really transform your Sage ERP to give you that full automation of real-time AP, but also the document management side of the house. So really giving you the digital filing cabinet for all divisions, not just a solution for finance. Not wanting to bore everyone with PowerPoint, but just a few slides to just kind of break it down, and then we'll jump right into the demo. So how does the workflow work? Whether your documents are coming in via email, folder, you're just manually bringing one in at a time, right? We capture, and then it just goes through validating the PDF prep. I'm going to demonstrate that today. How often do you get invoices that come in a PDF? Then it's 4 or 5 invoices in one PDF, and you have to take it out and manually break it up and then bring it back in. The ability for that to come in, for the software to recognize, okay, there's 4 invoices here. Let's put that into 4 documents right away because they're going to need to be GL coded differently. And then to do extract all that metadata, make sure we populate all the necessary search fields so you can query it later, and then validate the data what we've pulled, and let's send it in for coding and approvals. So that's the kind of the behind the scenes. Really, it's 4 steps though. You verify, you code, you approve, and then final review. We just think there's always nice to have that one set of human eyes on a document, even if everything else is autonomous, just the one set. Because when something goes in your ERP, that's not fun to try to pull it back out if you make a mistake. So, just gives you that little buffer. What's happening. Documents are coming in, whether it be electronic or paper. They go through the AI engine, and that's where all of the data is pulled out from. We validate it, we code it, or reconcile it if something was erroneous, and then we send it for approval. Once it gets to approval, right, it gets sent off into the ERP, and then payment can happen. Once payment happens, it cycles back to MetaViewer to let it know the cycle, the full circle has been completed, and now you have a full automation from right from the invoice to the payment. We spent 46 years focusing on all areas of business. We have definitely found in the 46 years, unbeknownst to us initially, that we've really become experts in the agriculture, farming, manufacturing, distribution, retail, wholesale. It's really just the mass production, constant invoice. The more invoices and the more complex, the better we are at really offering a solution. We can do the easy ones too, but we definitely enjoy wrapping our arms around the bigger ones. However, let's just jump into the demo and we will look at that in firsthand. So we are here. I was already logged into MetaViewer. I'm pretty sure it's going to have me log in again, but let's see. So the way MetaViewer works is that we're a role-based software. And so whether you're an AP clerk, AP manager, controller, right, an approver, so everyone's going to have a different role when they come in. And when they come in, therefore they're going to want to see the data displayed differently, right? As an AP clerk, and the way that I was brought up on this software, I like coming in, seeing all my folders open and understanding, okay, I know where to go. Red means pay attention to me, but I spend my days always in the AP prep world. That's where I'm going to start my day today. I've come in, I see there's 48 documents. Some are overdue, some are unknown, but that's just because they didn't have a due date put in. We have our POs and our non-POs that have been brought into the system, right? So there's a PO, it's here. Those are a little bit simpler. It comes in, we do our 3-way match. As long as the PO, the invoice, and the receipt all equal, then we can push that forward. And if they don't, then we just push part of the payment and leave the rest of it open. So again, this is where the PO comes in. We already verified all the data that came across. This is all your metadata. And then here you have on the right hand side, you have all your notes. This is all your journal tags from the auditor who come in, right? They're bound to be there. And words that start with A should be like awesome, not awful. And so with audits, we wanted to bring it on the awesome side of that. And so if we offer a solution for them to come in, have a full, reference point of every step that's happened with this invoice, it just makes your job that much easier. And you don't have to keep, trying to find it in a filing cabinet or wherever it may be stored. So we come in, we see that data receivers has come in, they bought looks like they're buying some lamps. You just check to make sure that all your data is proper. The dollar values are equaling each other. Anything here that has a magnifying glass, that's where the AI is pulling the data from the invoice. Anything else that is filled in, right? So for example, vendor number, right? That's because the AI engine recognized this invoice as being data and receivers. It goes out to the thumbprint that's in Sage, recognizes from that vendor card data and receivers to this invoice, and then it knows now your vendor number, etc. So when you go through, you can see, oh, okay, everything's good. So you can go to code and reconcile. You bring it into code and reconcile, make sure that all the values are proper. So we picked up the lines. It looks like it has the right quantities. Everything's been accounted for. So it's reconciled. And there you go. Now it gets shipped off and you go to your next document. The nice part about that is, it's a PO, it's already been approved. You don't need to approve it again. So why go through that step? But for the non-PO invoices, right, there is a whole other piece that comes with AP automation. So why don't we jump out and look? Here we go. Here, this is a non-PO invoice. We come through, we see this one's coming in from Rain Projectors. There's a large purchase of many items. You're wondering, okay, there's no total here, but we've picked up a total. So you look up and you notice there's 2 pages. Jump on over to the second page. Oh, that's a bit big. But as the nice part about MetaViewer is, as you get older, like I'm getting, you can just adjust the zoom in magnification and be able to see your numbers a little bit easier. So we come in here, see it's 77. It's picked up the freight at 3,500. Some areas, regardless of how the invoice looks, it's a 99.9% accuracy when it comes to our OCR capabilities. My boss doesn't let me say 100% because I guess there's liability if I start spreading it that we're perfect when it comes to the OCR, and really nothing is. There's always a glitch, every once in a blue moon, but we come in, so we're like, yeah, that looks good. Let's go to code and reconcile it. And this is where now you are able to come down, make sure that it's going into the right account, right? Like this is a lot of different things. So you can come by and do it line by line. If you know that all of this is going in to a general expense account, you can send it there. So let's look at what this might be. I think that, when we're talking about paper, rulers, thingies, I made this one up myself, that we just needed to put, this is probably a miscellaneous expense when you add it all together. You bring it together, miscellaneous, everything equals, and you just said coded, and then this is where you can add your approvers in. I'm trying to go fast so that I can get you back on track at the 115 mark here. But, from here now, we'll add an approver. So we're going to send it to the manager, send it for approval. And it just brings you to the next document. Documents come in, they go to the bottom of the rung. That way, the ones that have been in there the longest are always the ones that are coming up. Now let's sign out as Julie. She's our AP clerk. And now we're going to sign in as Kathy, who's our AP manager. When we sign back in, now you see it's a different interface. Julie, again, coming up as the AP clerk, she's just used to seeing that, the text and the numbers. Kathy, she doesn't spend as much time here. She likes to come in, get the visual, understand what's happening. Is there anything that requires immediate action, like over 10 days? Probably action that, and then can go on with her day. Let's hop in. Let's see. Here's Rain Projectors, right? Coming at 77,000. It comes in. She's the one that she can add an approver. She's like, oh, that's pretty high. Maybe I need to add someone to it. Or she can just, she can say, okay, looks like everything's accounted for here. The dollar value is right. She checks over here. There's no notes in the journal tag. Let's just see if anyone just wrote a note. Nope. If maybe she wants to add a note just so it's there going forward. Great demo today, Amy. You want to make sure whenever you write there though that you keep it business professional because it is now there for life. And so, that's not the place for any inside jokes or any kind of commentary that way. So we had that. Looks like everything's good. We're going to approve it. Double check to make sure you don't have a fast finger. And that's it. The one last piece that we will show just to wrap it up today, again, trying to help stay on track. And it's just too easy to want to show everything when you get start feeling the buzz here on the ISV Society. Is what I was talking about PDF prep. So let's come down to, that's not the one. Here we go. This one, we have a document that comes in. And again, now this is all going to happen automatically, but if I did that, then I wouldn't have much to demo. So I'm going to show you the manual, how we do this manually to understand what's happening. But you come in, you see that it picks up Fabricam. However, in picking up Fabricam, you kind of notice that it seems to have a bit of not really adding up. You see like there's different PO references and invoice numbers. And when you look up, that's not the invoice number. But then you see there's 7 pages. And you see there's 7 pages up here. Like, oh, so what's going on? Well, you click through, oh, there's 7 different invoices. Okay, well, I don't want to have to start over. You just come up to requires PDF splitting. No different than you would do it in Adobe. Again, this all happens automated, but just for the purpose of the demo, I could provide those. Let's keep those 2 the same because maybe they're actually meant to be it's the same invoice, just a longer page. And you go split it, and now that's going to turn that one document into 6. And then you can go and make sure those 6 documents go to the right GL code, the right division, and into the right expense bucket. So with that, we've seen the approval. We've seen what happens when you get too many documents at one time. And then the one final piece is that the approval, it just comes back to final review just to make sure there's a human element before you put that into your ERP. Here we go, the 77,000 still there. Everything's good. Oh, great demo today, Amy. Thank you very much. We're good. Let's export that off the stage now. And with that, that one sends off and it brings us back to the next one. Oh. Where's my... Let's see. If you're looking to leverage your investment, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you about how MetaViewer and Sage can make your everyday all the things sugar and spice and everything nice. My name's Eric Humes. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to talk to everyone today. Look forward to hearing from you soon. And have a great long weekend for those in the US coming up next weekend. And for my Canadian friends, hope you're feeling a little bit better than I am on this Tuesday. Cheers.
Thanks, Eric.